There are really little ways that this storyline can go. Barriss Offee being the apprentice of Darth Vader is something that most of us, of course, will appreciate the irony, but most of us know how this is going. So today, I want to talk about the last images that we see in the trailer for Tales of the Empire. We definitely see Barriss Offee in Inquisitor uniform together with other Inquisitors, and Darth Vader enters the room. You see, the interesting thing here is that we don't see Barriss Offee in the future, whether that be Jedi Fallen Order, Jedi Survivor, where there are a lot of Inquisitors. Furthermore, we don't see her in the comics. We don't see her in animated shows. So that leaves a huge gap in what I suspect that Barriss Offee might not survive the Tales of the Empire series. It might be that in the last episode she finds out something that will crush her and that Vader will need to take revenge upon, if you know what I'm saying. So first of all, let's talk about this scene. The scene that you see in Tales of the Empire where the Grand Inquisitor is cautioning the Inquisitors to take heed because their master is here and Darth Vader enters. This scene either is a retcon or is the same scene that we see in the Star Wars comics. In the 2018 comic series, we have this moment where Vader meets the Inquisitorius for the first time through Palpatine. Palpatine is actually the one who introduces him to the Inquisitors, and Vader meets the Grand Inquisitor in pretty harsh conditions inside the Jedi library. He almost kills him, but this is how Palpatine introduces somebody. Nonetheless, all of these Inquisitors that you see in the trailer are perplexed when they hear that they have other masters outside of the Emperor. This is when Vader goes on full revenge mode, and he even cuts one of the brothers' arms. Not in total revenge, but in training. You see, in the comics it is shown that Vader, once he took hold of the Inquisitorius, he felt that they were too weak. They still adhered to their Jedi training, and so to toughen them up or to make them more savage, he goes on an excruciatingly torturous training regimen that we have actually a comic page where all of the Inquisitors are either badly hurt or some near to death. This is how Vader gruesomely trained the Inquisitors, and that's what we're probably gonna see in Tales of the Empire 2, more specifically with one specific Inquisitor, and that'll be, of course, Barriss Offee. The answer to everybody's question, and I know everybody is asking this, and of course you're right to ask this, when will Barriss Offee realize that Darth Vader is Anakin Skywalker, the last Jedi she fought against? That fearsome duel where Anakin Skywalker finally caught her. And of course, who could forget the Jedi Master of the person Barriss Offee framed, Ahsoka Tano. Now, if you go back to Star Wars Rebels, the method of which Ahsoka used to actually detect who Darth Vader really was through the Force. She felt the cold together with Kanan Jarrus, and both of them extended their Force abilities to actually feel who this person really is that they are familiar with. And Ahsoka was the one who realized with a brief flash that Darth Vader was indeed Anakin Skywalker. She didn't confirm this, of course, until she actually fought him on Malachor. Well, you see, during their training, during their Jedi Ascension, both Barriss Offee and Ahsoka were pretty much very similar to one another as Padawans and as Jedi. They were ascending in a parallel manner. Unfortunately, one of them took a dark turn in Barriss Offee, and her storyline just got discombobulated, and we haven't had the chance to realize what happened to her up until now. I believe that there is a similar method of which Barriss Offee, similar to Ahsoka, will feel who this person really is. So the first thing that will happen is that Darth Vader will go hard against Barriss Offee in training. I believe that there will be a scene where Darth Vader will go so hard on Barriss Offee in training that even the other Inquisitors will be wary. We will have a scene where the Grand Inquisitor and the others' eyes are widened slightly when they see how badly Darth Vader might injure, for example, Barriss Offee, in the pretext of course, training. At this point, we know the audience that Darth Vader knows exactly who Barriss Offee is, knows that she betrayed Ahsoka, she betrayed the Jedi Order, but not in his way, in the cowardly way. I think even though Barriss Offee went against the Jedi Order, I don't think Vader will appreciate the method she did it in, because to Anakin and both to Vader, I think that Barriss Offee is a coward. That's how they view her. Throughout this training regimen, the fighting style will be noticed by Barriss Offee. Indeed, similar to Tarkin and to Thrawn, they deduced that Darth Vader was Anakin Skywalker through his fighting style, through watching Vader fight, through absorbing his thoughts, his mannerisms, and his battle techniques. Thrawn, in fact, actually deduced this through his battle techniques because he was present both during the Clone Wars with Anakin Skywalker and then with Darth Vader in Imperial times. So similarly, Barriss Offee is very much familiar with Anakin Skywalker, with his battle techniques, with his fighting style, with his methodology, and this might give a huge clue to Barriss Offee. Set aside the fact that of course she is force sensitive, and supplement to that she will actually feel, more than Tarkin and Thrawn, she will get to feel his presence up and close, and she will know in the end that he is the former Jedi Anakin Skywalker turned to the dark side, now Darth Vader. What's even more interesting is that nobody is really commenting on is that I think this is an entire ruse set up by Emperor Palpatine. Darth Sidious has already formed the Inquisitorius as we see in the early comics, in the early stories of the Empire. The Grand Inquisitor is already there, and much of the Inquisitors have been put in place. It's only in Tales of the Empire that we see Barriss Offee be offered this opportunity. I think that this was done intentionally by Darth Sidious. As he likes to test and play with Darth Vader, he will intentionally take a former Jedi that betrayed her apprentice that he fought against, that now is your apprentice. This is the twisted fate that Palpatine will put in front of Darth Vader just to see his reaction, just to see what he will do. What you really have to understand that in the end, for Barriss Offee's story to really feel tragic, because you see tragedy in her eyes, even though she is released from prison and now she is presumed to be an Inquisitor, you still see her sadness. You still feel bad for her, even if when you watch the trailer, you kind of feel bad for Barriss Offee, even though she's gone through this tragic ordeal that she has inflicted on herself. It really will feel a lot more tragic than it already appears to be if she is just a pawn in Palpatine's real plan to actually stress test Darth Vader, to see how much darkness he can output. How much darkness does Darth Vader has inside of him? And this is a great opportunity. It's not the Grand Inquisitor, it's not Reva, it's not anybody else except for Barriss Offee, who he has a personal connection with. The most personal we have had since, I would guess, Obi-Wan or Yoda. At this point, Vader will unleash the entire wrath of the Jedi Order, the wrath of his past, Padme, Ahsoka, Obi-Wan. His entire wrath will be dedicated to Barriss Offee. And what does that look like? That's going to be the most interesting part. There's a Jedi there in the trailer too, which Barriss Offee tries to fight off together with another Inquisitor. That might come into play as well in the end, but I do feel like Palpatine is behind everything, especially the Barriss Offee play, and in the end, she will die just because Palpatine wanted to test his apprentice. This is how the Sith deal in things. I'm very excited for Tales of the Empire and can't wait, so let me know, what do you guys think too?